Hey everybody, it's Funny here. Once again, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm rambling about the Flame Fire. It is an 8-voice percussion synthesizer for your rack, and it sounds like this. Okay, if you've been watching the last couple videos, then you've probably seen the flame fire creeping into the sides of other shots. I've been putting this one off for a while, and I might talk about that for a little bit in this video as well, but for a number of reasons I picked this up because I'm hoping to replace the LXR drum in my setup, in my live rig. I've done lots of videos on my live rig, so check out those if you are interested, but a lot of what I've seen online has been comparing the Fire to the LXR drum, and ironically, though that is the exact same situation that I'm in, I'm going to try and sort of look at it on its own and not just against the LXR. It's a drum module, and we'll just think of it like we would any other drum module, but I'll probably be making comparisons to it along the way. So I'd say pretty expensive for what it is. I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of voice count, like you're going to be bumping up against like samplers, be it desktop or in the rack, again, something like the LXR drum. Sorry, I'm already making comparisons to it, but when I picked it up, I thought you just got the main module and not the X-Fire, the Crossfire, the expander. So I was surprised when it arrived and that was in the box. I was like, huh. When I was looking at it and I decided to order it, I was like, okay, I hate MIDI, but I'm actually think I'm going to try and bite the bullet and set up my Hermod Plus in a way that can MIDI sequence through the TRS jacks up here, and I won't worry about CV in. And then it showed up and it has the expander, so I didn't realize that, which is funny. I will say, unfortunately, on the other side of that, though, it feels actually like pretty cheap. I was really surprised because I've always seen pictures of it and I thought, that screen, kind of like the Generation 1 Electron boxes style, seems kind of hokey, but whatever. If you can read it, I'm happy, as long as the algorithms sound good. But the build quality, like these plastic jacks and these knobs, and I'll talk more about the knobs when we get to them, it just sort of feels kind of cheap, and I was really surprised given how expensive it was, how it feels. Will it hold up or not? Will it be an issue? Time will tell, but I'll probably start complaining about these encoders when I get to the first edit. They're not wiggly at all. They are super firm, but it almost strikes me as like, I don't know if they're plastic encoders or not. I haven't pulled the caps off, but like it almost strikes me like they said, okay, everybody hates wiggly knobs because they feel cheap, so we'll give them as much resistance as possible, and they won't wobble at all, and you have to like kind of put in a little bit of effort to turn them. And that part of it is fine. I'm not super concerned about like how they feel or the actual action of it. However, I am a catch encoder person, I guess. I don't know how firmly people feel in either camp. I always like to, if I'm recalling a preset or doing whatever, especially in something where each different instrument makes use of the same 8 encoders, I want to go to where my setting is and then make adjustments from there, right? When you have jump encoders, which I'm sure you're all familiar with this, which is kind of usually the default, wherever you are, when you start moving, it'll just jump to there, which the Fire gives you the option to do both. However, these encoders just like seem to skip over the catch points a lot. And now that it's mounted in this rack in the vertical way, it actually doesn't seem as bad. And maybe it just needs to be broken in more, I guess. I don't know if that's the reason, what the reason is. It's not as bad as when I first got it, but when I originally racked it up in my other case, I was like, oh my God, I'm like trying to go to the pickup point and it's just like going over it. And then I like end up in this position where I'm having to wiggle, and we'll probably see some of that in a moment. So what better way to start this video than just rapid firing through a bunch of presets so you can kind of get the, I don't know, sonic overview of it. And half of this show is trying to come up with adjectives for things, and I just like, let's just recall a bunch of different kits. It's just very tech, I guess. Like, it just has this, I don't know, it's not super raunchy, although you can make it raunchy. It just like, this just belongs on an Autechre album in my mind, right? And I love that about it. So here's a bunch of factory presets, or at least these were on it when I picked it up. It's just like, I wanted to start this way because, like, do you get a feel for how it sounds? And there's a whole bunch of algorithms, and we're going to explore them all in a second here, but it just has this, like, techie, this, not techno, right? Not like 909, but like techie. I don't even know. What are these adjectives? Every episode, right? Who knows? Speaking of techie, speaking of techno 909, there's one. And the algorithms are great. I'll just say that right off the rip. And everything is way more hands-on than the LXR. I promise the video won't exclusively be about making comparisons, but it's just a lot easier to get right into it. So that's a bunch of preset recall. And that's kind of why I picked this up, is because I want to do some preset recall, making my own, building my own kits, and then recalling them on the fly. So in that spirit, let's make a new kit. I think there's like 100 some odd empties, so let's go to 34. We'll stop, and we're just going to start with one track. And I will come in and lay 4 on the floor. You can select said track by pressing select, make sure the select is blinking, and then hitting 1. There's some finickiness, I guess. As always, half the show is searching for adjectives, but there's just like this, like, the dual function of the select button and the buttons themselves is a little weird. Strikes me almost that they hated shift function, so they added a select button instead and kind of did it backwards. But anyway, hitting play, just remember, wait for the select to blink, then go to the page. So now we are in voice 1 in A mode. And we'll talk about morphing later, but I just want to check out the algorithms first because that's kind of the bread and butter of the Fire. So we have bass drum here. First knob is level. And again, I'm using catch encoders, so I had to go up to the top and grab it. This is not usually where I would edit it. There's actually a volume page here where you can sort of macro mix all your different algorithms, which is really nice. So that's a kick. There's the level. We'll just crank it up for now because I'm going to go through all of these. Here's tune. And it just sounds good, right? And then this is PT amount, which I believe is your bend. Again, I'm not sure why it's called PT, but... And then there's sort of your bend time. So we'll make it a short decay with lots of amount to get sort of that transient going at the beginning. It's not actually a transient. There is a transient in here, but you get some of that zappiness at the front, making it sound like, you know, a click. Then there's drive. And decay, so overall decay. Again, my catch knob. It actually has been way better in today's jamming of it, so I don't want it to stop doing it and then I, you know, inaccurately complained about it, or it starts doing it bad later and I didn't complain about it enough, or anyway, today it's been pretty good. The other thing is, once you've caught it, I think it's okay, right? So I'm looking at all these encoders are to the right places. Anyway, this is transient level. Hold stage is interesting for a kick. I'm used to just having kind of like attack decay, but here we get hold and decay. So if you really wanted to rumble, you can go there. Now the other section to this, you hit page, and then you can see the other side. So here's click level. And that's like our sample. And you can choose a bunch of different ones. I believe I'm actually cutting it off now. Yeah. But here's different samples. And the tuning. The encoders have been really good today. So there's a bunch of different samples baked in. There's some noise. I like to use a little bit of noise, not that much, but I don't think you can tune the noise though. But you can bust up the resonance. Change the filter type, notch. Let's go. Cut off. It's not really self-oscillating, that's okay. Here's high pass. It's probably intentional. There's the high pass is doing it though. And then bit reduction. Yeah. I've had a bunch of comments recently on videos that like that face says more than the words do. And like, so again, that encoder-ness is bugging me, but we will carry on. Tune going down. Oh, the encoders, man. Come on. Come on. There we go. I might have to switch this away from catch. And driving the digitalness of it. Yes. All right, let's get into T-Bridge. Another algorithm. We'll crank up the volume. Here's the tune. Then again, PT amount. Decay. Decay, if the catch would ever grab. Oh my god. Please, please. Okay, well, I guess we don't get to modulate that decay because of stupid encoders. Let's go to PT amount. Is this frozen? Nope. There we go. No, PT, AT, so attenuation. Or attack. Oh, so this one has attack. Decay. Oh, there we go. We got our... Yes, there we go. Drive it up. To the other page. I don't love this algorithm so much, but there are lots of great ones. So here's resonance, click level, sample 1. I think this is the same samples as the bass drum algo. Yeah. Okay. I just... In the LXR drum, sorry, there's all these button combos to get to these basic parameters, so I always am stuck in preset surfing on here. Like, some of the naming is weird, but it's so easy to just, like, you know, change the decay, change the drive, change my pitch bend, right? Like, it's straightforward. I really appreciate that. That goes for, you know, it versus any other drum module. Let's go into a different algo. We have rim shot. This one is pretty straightforward. We have level 1. There's sort of 2 voices to it, if I recall correctly. These can make some pretty interesting ones. Oh yeah, so it just like triggers 3 different voices at the same time. So if we make one like super long, super short, in between, high pass filter, page it down a little bit. This is driven like crazy. Bit reduce it. Here's some kind of like the hats on 808s where it's all square waves. Yeah. But again, just like messing up these digital algos is a good thing. Or at least I'm into that. What is happening? Oh, it's a bit reduction maybe? I don't know. Oh my god, this encoder, come on please. There we go. Okay, that's a rim shot. I skipped over the clap. This clap is excellent. I am a self-professed clap lover. Is that even a thing? Please don't post that out of context either. We have the number of claps, so it'll repeat in a ratchety way. But I just love the tone of claps, and you can set their decay. I don't know why you want multiple. You kind of just want one, right? Although that 2 sounds kind of cool too. Crank up the decay. Yes. And hearing this, I'm like, how come there's no like clap modules out there that have this much depth? I love my Erica Sims clap. But I'm surprised you never get that much depth, right? This is reverb decay. So here's that reverb. I don't love that as much as I like the noise decay or the clap decay. Here's the cutoff. Reverb cutoff. So it's kind of got like 2 stages, but also will repeat. I just think this is sweet. Reverb level, I kind of didn't like that part as much, but yeah. And then you can tune your noise, and it gets into like sample rate reduced. Yeah, raunchy at the bottom. Yes. Oh, I skipped over. Here's the tom. I dig that. Here's tune master, and then has other toms on board. So it's tune 2. So it kind of has a couple voices stacked, right? And you could probably wrangle some intervals out of that. Yeah, so change up my sequence a little bit here, but you can even do pitch bend, I believe. Some digital goodness with the attack. And then TN, I assume, is transient decay. Yeah. And I hear a lot of you screaming out, these encoders, man, they drive me crazy. Oh, that's going. I hear some of you screaming out that these are super cheesy sounds, but it's kind of endearing, right? Let's do the bit crushing now. It's just like, it's willing to go. It's willing to be taken too far. Yeah, OT I think is overtone. I don't know if that's some sort of other transient shaping option, but yeah, universal. This is sort of like your bread and butter sort of synthesize, sort of a bread and butter algorithm for doing all the different synth voices. Here's the TN decay again. Hold. So here's cutoff again. This encoder drives me insane. There it goes. Resonance. Take my hold stage down. It's interesting, I really like these hold stages, but I'm kind of like, when I'm sending it triggers, I'm just thinking like, just decay, please. I guess you could kind of do super short decays and just have these holds for some interesting. Yeah, I mean, it does give it an interesting envelope if you have it digitally just fall off like that, right? Kind of like a square wave, right? Let's try some of our different filter modes. We have notch here. And I get the sense that whatever I'm doing right now is not going through there. So here's noise. Oh, so the filter is only applied to the noise right now. That's interesting. Let's go to the next page. Okay, I think I was on the second page. All right. We have that same tune 1 and 2 for like dual oscillators, and then FM. I don't know if voice 1 is probably cross-modding voice 2. RTFM, if you will. So we have PT attack, decay, and amount. Okay, so here's the tone cutoff. And this was the noise cutoff. Okay. So bandpass, you can kind of get some tuned noise out of it that way, right? So let's try and go bandpass mode for the tone section. Go back to page. Yeah. Let's get some more decay going. Probably tune that down as well. Turn this up too. Kind of get some like FM bells almost going. I'm not liking my noise as much here. So maybe I'll put that into low pass and just filter it out. It's interesting to hear so much. I don't know, I hear so much high end And I'm not sure where that's coming from. There we go. Must have been some filter self-oscillating there. So let's make our decays a little longer, pitch it up a hair, and then we'll open our cutoff a little bit. And this is in bandpass mode. Notch actually sounds pretty good. I'm surprised it's not on more synthesizers because it sounds really nice for drums. Anyway, not loving this patch, but that's okay. Universal is super versatile, and what is not is the cowbell. You do get a tune. People love their cowbells. I don't know, I just make cheesy music, and I can't compete with the cheesy cowbell. Maybe that's why I don't like it as much. So it's again another two-voice sort of thing stacked. So you have an interval there that you can tune, filter on here. And I'm sure, just like all the other ones, there's some interesting things to be done here. See, a metal control shift, like there is certainly, oh, nice digitalness there. Certainly if here, let's bring up my triggers. Like definitely some hi-hat potential, right? Let's zoom in on the scope here. Oh, I like this. I like this metal material, I like to call it. Cut off up. Nice glitchy goodness. Alright. And then we have X clap. Oh, we're gonna get to my favorite one in a second. Clap. Just another type of clap, I suppose. Cut off. Resonance. I'm curious how this one differs from the first clap. Less parameters, I think. Unless I'm just looking at the same one again, but hey. These digital filters sound great. Gotta hand it to them, right? Sometimes when I'm like looking at something like this, I'm like, oh, these filters are probably an afterthought, but they sound really good. I wish there was a filter envelope as one of the core parameters, but I know you can do it over CV. And then my favorite algorithm, we have the wavetable, so listen. Sounds marvelous. So this is PT amount, I believe, was pitch bend again. I'm not sure why it says PT, but that's okay. And then you have your wavetable scanning, where you can select the wave. Within the wavetable, and then this is the wavetable amount. And then you select the wavetable with this encoder that won't pick up. Here we go. So here's wavetable 1, wavetable 2, wavetable 3, 4. Scan through them a little bit. 5. I love these. Like everyone says, wavetables sound so cheesy, and maybe that's why I like them so much. This encoder will never pick up the attack value, thank you. And the decay. Go over to page. There's a lot here. Attenuation for that PT. No, attack for that PT envelope. Decay. Cut off. Crank up that resonance for fun. We are in bandpass mode. Let's try low pass. Like, these filters are nice. They're really nice. Notch again. Like, I don't know if they're from a particular digital source that is popular or not, but they sound great. L rate? This is sample rate? No, LFO rate. And then you have shape. I think this is scanning through the wavetables. I love that they just give you those tools, right? I've got way too many triggers. Let's go down to 4 on the floor. Is there another page here? No. And it's just fun to come on here and go, let's go different wavetable. What does it sound like? Completely different. Pretty noisy. But this one, not so much. I believe that is the last algorithm that was added in another update. So when I try and scroll into there, it's just going to reset it. I love wavetable sounds. Trying to demonstrate all the different parameters on here makes for some pretty terrible sounds, but I hope to show you the range of what it can do, right? So you can load instruments at this level, but what we want to do is, oh God. Okay, I'm in the global menu. Again, this is the finicky part about this thing, right? I almost just wish if we just did a second row, we wouldn't need select and other parameters. Yes, you get a manual trigger button here, but like, just, you know, throw a couple more buttons on there, and then you wouldn't have to fuss with whether I'm on the select or the view, because now I am looking at voice 1, but I am on edit A. So now, if I go to setup, no. If I go to select, and then demorph, no. Yes, okay. Trying not to switch to voice 7. What you can do is morph between 2 different patches per voice. And I don't know if there's a way, if we go page, no. I don't think there's a way to globally morph everything, which is something I really like doing on the LXR drum. But you can come in here and just sort of live tweak sounds to mangle them, and I love that about it. So let's unmute a bunch of these tracks. And you can just on the fly scan between 2 patches. So let's load a preset up, come into morph. Somebody's what is going on with this patch? Somebody's stuck notes. Okay. So now I've got this wood kit, come into morph. And then we can come into the first one, grab it. And I just love the idea of being on stage and just kind of live tweaking without needing to jump in and out of different pages and instruments, right? You can just come in here and say, I want my rim shot to go up into a new sound. Wavetable, go and grab that. But also another reason why I don't want to use jump encoders is because I want to slowly put those in, and if I had to jump where the encoder didn't match what was on the panel, it would just go completely swap the sound, right? Almost in this patch, take your kick out, right, by pitching it up at that other side of the morph, right? And then new sounds in between, right? You can take one sequence and stretch into 3 hours, right? This is why we came to techno, right? I just love that. I wish there's a way to globally change it though, and there probably is, I'm just not sure. There's that filter bank one. So I kind of, in my head, when I picked this up, I was like, okay, this will be great for live performance. You can set up, build your own patches, create your own kits before, and then I'll come in on stage and sort of noodle this all on the fly, right? Right? Now, it doesn't mean I'll have to build sort of 2 patches per voice, but I'm happy to prepare all that beforehand, right? And the other thing on that front, not manually modulating it, but if I go in and select one of the voices, you can use CV assignment. So let's see if I can hit this without leaving. Yeah, if you hit CV, you can have user assignment 1 and 2 in here. And I love that on the squid sample where you can just take one modulation point and send it to multiple destinations. Thank you. I've been begging for that on Electron boxes forever. You can come in here, and I'm not sending an envelope or anything right now, but you can just say how much I want the CV to modulate the tune. Maybe we'll just throw an LFO at it. I would be silly to bring it up like this and then not use it. See, now I'm modulating the level and the tune. Right? Decays would ever hold. Right? And I love that about it. Super, super useful. I mean, in a way, it's kind of a clever way for them to only have to put something jacks on the panel, but I like that. There's also velocity in. Again, I'm not a big accent person, but my unclocked LFO down to that. It's fun. I just wonder if this is controlled by this and not the other one, but I don't know. Again, it's just I wish the setup on here was a little bit different, but that's okay. It sounds great. Then if we go over to the pan view again, you can do, so I would never want my kicks out of center, but if I put my other voices around in the stereo field, hopefully you can hear that at home. Hopefully I haven't mixed it down to mono at some point in the process, which I often do. You can kind of spice up your mix easily, right? On some other drum modules. You'd have to do this per voice, right? And then volume too, right? I want to take my kick out. Right, obviously I can mute it on the sequencer side, but I can come in now and do this. That is a terrible kick, and it's my own fault because I tweaked it. Again, this is, just listening to this, I'm like, yeah, this is, you know, I don't know. What's the word? Sonic palette of the Fire, where it excels in like cool digital stuff like this, right? Yeah. If you're into designing drum synths like I am, this will be great. As long as you mesh with these sort of sounds. I wouldn't come to this and necessarily look for like classic like Roland drums. You gotta like this sort of digital stuff, and I love this sort of stuff. Also great candidate for just demolishing with effects and stuff, right? So I think we should do that now. I'm Tafony. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, like, comment, subscribe. I think I'm going to do another video on the Fire later if you'd like to see that. I want to spend some more time with it, make my own kits and stuff, and then we'll kind of maybe do a follow-up video is my plan. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.